Welcome to the Dynasty Dads Podcast. Football, rankings, debates, dad stuff with your host, Justin Williams and Matt Renshaw.
Hey, welcome everyone to the Week 7 edition of Dynasty Dads. I'm your host, Justin Targeting Williams, and with me as always, my good friend Matt Renshaw. Matt, how are you today?
Good. Have you used targeting before?
Always. I'm always targeting things.
Hitting a defenseless receiver.
Mm-hmm.
You seem like that kind of guy.
When you see something, you just got to go for it.
Just do it.
Yep, you just got to go for it.
Who
Week
cares?
7.
Who cares? Yeah, it's flown by.
Week 7.
This has been quick.
Week 7. It's unbelievable. But before we get into all the football stuff,
Yeah.
we got to talk about the fam.
Oh, okay.
How was your week?
It was good. It was a really good week. So we had one night where we had like family play night. It was weird. My wife and I and the girls all playing Play-Doh, all making different things. Our youngest is no longer a baby. Like, she's walking around. She's saying 4 or 5 word sentences, asking please, thank you. Like, I looked at her today and I was like, she's not a baby anymore. Like, sad. Nothing?
No, it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a good stage, though, because, eventually it's going to turn into where she knows she's not a baby, and she
Right.
just absolutely hates you.
No,
just because you're old.
That's not true. My girls are going to love me.
I don't know, man. Your friends don't love you.
Then they're not friends. What about you? Kid stories? I got a family story, but I'll let you talk kid stories first.
No, let's hear your family story.
So,
go ahead. Let's get it over with.
Are you in any family leagues?
No, because most of my family doesn't watch football. They don't follow football as closely as I do.
So my parents, my dad, started a family league.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, they know I have a podcast. I'm the commissioner of this said family league. My mom texted me today. She's like, hey, read this. And it was a text message to her that said, ask your fantasy son for trade advice. Would you trade Sony Michel for Andy Dalton in a 1-quarterback league? And I said, no, Mom, I wouldn't do that. I said, whoever's getting Sony Michel wins this trade. And then I did some digging. It's in a family league, which I don't know why I didn't think it was in the family league. Why my mom would be asking me for fantasy advice for any other fantasy league that she's not in.
Mm-hmm.
Then I find out she's trying to trade with my dad.
Okay.
So she's like, well, why don't you come up with a deal that's fair for both of us, and it helps my team and it helps his team, and it's fair. So, I'm trying to negotiate a trade for my parents as the commissioner. I'm like, this is nuts. The best I've come up with so far, and anyone that listens can tell me if it's fair or not. Sony Michel and Sammy Watkins for Dalvin Cook and Andy Dalton. I figure Dalton and Watkins are a wash, and Cook and Michel are pretty similar.
Yeah, I'd rather have the Sony side. And we'll talk about it a little bit later. We're going to talk about Sony later, but that's the side I'd rather have. But
yeah,
that's just me.
So it's just, I'm like, why am I doing that? It's a free family for fun league.
On top of running the league, you're actually kind of running a couple other teams.
Oh yeah. Well, and I'm playing my wife this week, which I'm sure she'll beat me. But I looked at her lineup this week.
Like she does in real life.
Yeah, I looked at her lineup this week and I said, hey, I know I usually tell you who you should start, or maybe you could probably take out. I said, you're kind of on your own this week because I'm playing you, and I don't want people to think that I gave myself the soft matchup. And she's like, okay. So she just went with whoever was projected the highest.
Yeah, Emily's wanted to be in the league, but it's just we don't have enough family to get her in.
Do it.
And she don't watch it. She doesn't want to watch it.
Yeah.
She struggles watching flag football. So it's like...
We should make a fantasy flag football team. We should have a league.
Yeah. I know you've been on this kick of starting businesses lately.
No.
I'm not really into the flag football business.
Fantasy flag football. No, not I don't want to start a league, but
You just said you want to start a league.
No. A fantasy flag football league. We draft kids.
Yeah, everybody drafts their own kid, and then...
No, because I don't have any kids in the league. And I know other listeners that listen to this don't have kids in the league. Like, we could just have a draft. Like, obviously, Carson, you would pick Carson, but I mean...
That's what I'm saying. I don't know any of the other kids.
But you wouldn't. I would say I want the wide receiver for Justin's team.
This is awful.
No.
This is awful. It's already off to a bad start.
Could you imagine the crowds at those fantasy football games?
Yeah, they're going to look a lot like the ones at the regular fantasy football, or flag football games.
No. The whole league would be there to justify. There's no like stat sheet because I'm sure they don't keep score in the flag football league.
Man, we're 5 minutes in.
That's
This is taking an ugly turn.
Whatever.
So as far as family stories go for me, my week has been a whirlwind. I've been all over the place. Emily's actually been home quite a bit this week.
Sweet.
With the kids, which has been awesome. So it's given me a lot of time. Had a big day-long training deal for real estate, which was great. That was a lot of fun.
Motivational?
There was one motivational keynote, but the rest of them were all actual classes, which was still good, educational.
Cool.
Makes me feel like I'm young again. Let's see. Other than that, Carson did fine at flag football this past weekend. Threw a touchdown, stayed in it pretty well. I think they ended up losing by 1 point, if I remember my math correctly. But
by a point or a touchdown?
By 1 point. Because you can't kick an extra point. So the extra point is you run the ball in. You can do a running play. But if you're going to go for 2, you have to pass it.
Okay.
And so they went for 2 and they didn't get it. I don't remember how it happened.
I think passing touchdown should be worth 4 points and extra point passing touchdown should be worth 2.
I don't remember. Anyways.
I'm making notes for this fantasy flag football.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So anyways. And then we had that big snowstorm Sunday
That was not
here.
a snowstorm.
It was horrible. I had to drive in it. We drove to his cousin's birthday across the river here.
What did we get, an inch?
Dude, it was pretty bad to drive in, though.
That's what she said.
It was bad. No, she didn't. It was bad to drive in. But it melted the next day.
Yeah, it was. Then I don't call that a storm. It snowed in October.
If you had to drive in it, you would have called it a storm.
I did drive in it.
You drove in it?
Yeah.
And it wasn't a storm?
No, I didn't consider it a storm. Freaking liar. It was a Sunday. I drove in it.
7 minutes in. So,
what's your whatever?
Okay. Week 7's finally here, like we mentioned before. Week 7's in the books. It's done with. It's capiche. It's over.
How you doing in your fantasy leagues?
I'm doing all right in my fantasy leagues. I've kind of stumbled a little bit lately.
Yeah.
I was off to a hell of a start. Stumbled a little bit, but it's a long season. I'm not worried about any of them.
Marathon, not a sprint.
I guess I am worried about one.
I was like, are you gonna win any games in the one that we talk about?
Yeah, my whole schedule gets so much softer here, so I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah, I like your chances. I'm rooting for you.
Oh, and yeah, I'm really not too worried about any of the other leagues, but
You're a 41-point dog this week in the league of record.
And rightfully so. I should be. I'm 0-5.
0-6.
0-6.
This is week 7.
Yeah, I didn't even log in last week to check it out during the games.
Yeah.
And now I'm depressed.
I'm doing my job.
Do you want to go straight into the news and notes, or do you have anything else you want to talk about?
No, we can go notes.
Sure?
Yeah.
You got something on your mind?
I mean, what we were going to talk about, it's like...
You want to chat?
We're both dads, and you were in, 15 leagues?
13, I think.
13
Lucky
leagues.
number 13.
So, that balancing act of, being a dad and managing 13 highly important fantasy football leagues and fantasy leagues in general.
Fantasy football is life, Matt.
Oh,
not sure if you know that.
Okay.
What do you?
I don't.
How do I balance that?
Yeah, I know when I do it. I try to do it. I don't try to do it. I get home at 4:30, and my kids go to bed at 7. So I try to not do it in that time frame. But that's just me.
Well, I mean, it helps. It helps with the career that I'm blessed to have.
Yeah.
Because it is a demanding career. It's only demanding when somebody needs me.
Right.
Right. When a client needs me, and then there's other times where, for the most part, I am doing something work related, where it's either promotion or setting things up in the future, or all that other fun stuff, filing. But I do have downtime, and so when I have that downtime, that's usually when I spend
doing this stuff,
updating the leagues, and I do have it kind of scheduled out. I know when I'm going to be free to do it.
Yeah.
So that helps a ton. And then
you're pretty organized too.
I like to think I'm extremely
compared to me.
organized.
You are definitely definitely organized.
Yeah, so I know for the most part who's on my team in all 13 of those leagues. I can't tell you what every roster looks like,
Right.
but I know the players
You got
that
an
are
idea.
drafted.
Yeah.
So when it comes time for when an alert comes across my phone, like this guy's out on Sunday, I know, well, okay, I'm on only 2 different platforms, ESPN and MFL.
Yeah.
I know I got to go through all those 2 platforms
And check.
and just check which one's which. I set my lineups Thursday morning.
So you like schedule it out your.
Well, it's not more of a schedule. It's just more like I know I'm free on Thursday mornings. So
okay.
I set all my lineups on Thursday mornings. On Tuesday, like afternoon, I'm usually fairly slow unless I have showings or anything like that. I usually have everything else set up for my entire week.
Yeah.
So on Tuesday afternoons, I go through and I make all my waiver wire picks because no waivers go through until Wednesday morning at the way
At the earliest. Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay.
And then Sunday, I usually try not to check my phone when it comes to fantasy because it's like,
Doesn't matter.
if I can't cheer for one guy because in another league that somebody has the
It's
same
against
guy.
you. Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah.
I don't bother. I usually check them on Sunday night is when I take a look at them.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
just-
that's how I do it.
Just yeah. Like I knew how I did it, but I didn't know how you did it.
Yeah, I mean it's not easy, and it's fun. And the way I look at it is like I only get this hardcore about fantasy football,
For 17 weeks.
Yeah, for 20 weeks in a year. And like the rest of the year, I'm not this hardcore about anything. Like I'm
Yeah.
not really into fancy baseball or hockey or basketball to that extent. So that's how I justify it.
Hmm.
And if I'm winning, my wife's happy.
Yeah.
So
Bringing home that money. Okay.
all right. So news and notes.
Yeah.
It's week 7. The Seahawks, the Packers, the Steelers, and the Raiders all get to rest comfortably. They can't lose this week, which is just neat. Just neat. They can't lose.
Hurts you. If you got Juju or AB or.
We should probably start. Yeah, there's some big names on that list, and a red hot David Moore, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah. So let's move on. We got Coach Sean McVay. He's already stated that Cooper Kupp, he's going to miss week 7 against the Niners.
Out.
We're not going to see him. McVay also said Cooper is on a week-to-week basis. I know you're not a doctor,
No.
but from what I'm understanding about the injury, is it really is a week-to-week basis? Like it's going to linger for a while.
Oh yeah.
What does this do for Cooper Kupp for you? Let's say he's active in week 8. What's this do for you? Are you going to trust him then? Are you going to wait and see?
I trust him.
Okay.
I mean, I actually like Cooper Kupp, which is weird because I remember last season, I hated Cooper Kupp.
Which made no sense.
So I've come around a little bit. Yeah, so I think he'll be okay. But like you said, I'm not a doctor. I don't know, but I'll trust that if he's playing in that high-powered Rams offense, he'll get his targets and points. And
I need to see a couple days of full practice runs. If he's doing full practices, that's when I know he's good to go.
Yeah.
Like if he sits out or does partial stuff all week next week, I'm not playing him week 8.
Is that like a position thing for you, or is that like him?
It's a positional thing for me.
So like
Cooper
if
Kupp, I don't think has much of an injury history at all.
So like if a running back did that and didn't practice all week,
That's how I feel. Like if I know a guy is banged up all week, like Dalvin Cook last week, I know he didn't play, but there was no way in hell I would have risked putting Dalvin Cook out there.
so like Matt Breida.
Yeah, like if you're injured all week and you're not good enough to practice all week,
Right.
I'm really nervous. I'd have to be desperate to start you again.
Okay.
But that's just me.
I was one of those Matt Breida owners. Like I grabbed Juszczyk in case, and I had planned on starting Juszczyk, and then when Breida was active, I was like, okay, I'm gonna roll with this guy.
Don't get me wrong, it burns you.
Oh yeah. It didn't this week, but yes, eventually it will.
I mean, speaking of like guys that like I really like that they can be injured all week and kind of just partially practice, and then I know I can start them.
Yeah.
Marshawn Lynch is one of those dudes.
Okay.
Speaking of Lynch, he has a groin injury. They're on a bye week, but he's expected to see some specialists, I guess, the next couple of days.
Yeah.
John Gruden publicly admitted that the team is worried, and I put quotes around worried. That was exact words.
Yeah.
Yikes. Are we close to seeing another muscle hamster return to greatness, Matt?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so. Is this the time to buy super low on Jalen Richard?
Maybe. I don't know. I trust Lynch. Even if he's hurt, I think he'll play.
I think so too, but I don't know if you all remember, but week 1 and I think week 2, Richard was a little slot machine. He was getting catching a lot of balls out of the backfield, and if you're in a PPR league, which most of you are, I don't know, man. You can get him for nothing right now, especially on a bye week. No one's picking him up.
Yeah, I don't know what his percentage is and he's owned, but I'm sure he meets that Renegades threshold.
Well, yeah, that might be a guy you want to look into.
Yeah.
But we've seen Doug Martin. Doug Martin hasn't looked good for
years.
2 years.
Yeah,
So anybody that wants to have Doug Martin on their roster, let him have him.
he's all yours.
Yeah, I don't see him being worthy of anything. Not even considering a start if Marshawn Lynch is out.
No, I like Lynch. I trust Lynch. John Gruden's an idiot, but
Hey.
they're gonna trade Amari Cooper. They're gonna trade their first round pick last year, their first round pick from the year before, or Garyon, whatever, the cornerback, has been benched. Like, he's just trying to get rid of everybody. That 10-year,
You got to turn that team over.
that 10-year, $100 million contract is just probably the worst contract in sports right now.
It has the ability, in hindsight, we might look back at that one and go, "Woo,
What are you
that
doing?
was bad. That was real bad."
I mean, you traded Khalil Mack for.
It's like that Nets trade 4 years ago. Yeah. Bad. That level of bad. Devonta Freeman, he landed himself on the IR, and I think that's just a mercy killing right there.
Yeah.
Groin injury. He just couldn't get his season really started. Obviously, Telvin Coleman is the guy.
Tevin or Telvin?
I'm sorry, Tevin Coleman.
Tevin. Okay, yeah, he is a guy.
He's the guy to own. But is Ito Smith worth owning as well? Is he flex worthy right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Then I'm done.
Oh. I spoiled it.
Yes, and I'm done.
Ryan Tannehill will be held out again this week against the Lions.
Brock-tober.
Brock Osweiler will start again
Brock-tober.
for the Finns. Threw for a career high
Yeah.
380 yards and 3 touchdowns last week against the Browns, right? Yeah, no, the Bears.
Chargers
The
took on
Bears.
Browns.
The Bears.
Bears.
The Bears. So, which was shocking in itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're super duper desperate at QB, you trust in Brock?
No.
Wow. Even if you're desperate?
What are we talking? If we're 3 quarterback leagues, sure.
Well, if you need a bye week fill in, if you were starting Big Ben, if you were starting Derek Carr,
You want a bye week fill-in that I like?
sure.
Joe Flacco
Wacko for Flacco, huh?
or Sam Darnold or
Sam Darnold has a shoulder injury. I'd be worried about Darnold.
he put up 12 points last week as a
he's gonna-
fill-in for me.
He's going to play through it, but
Yeah.
I'm worried.
I'm not.
I'm scared.
Anyway, yeah, no. So no, I'm not.
Super scared.
I don't trust Brock. We've seen Brock be great, and we've seen Brock be awful.
Oh, as a Denver fan, yes, we have.
Yeah.
Yes,
You
we
were
have.
mad when he went to the Texans.
Yes,
you were
I was.
upset that they didn't sign him.
That was the future of the franchise, Matt.
I remember.
They ruined all the mojo that dude had.
You were so mad.
I'm still
Why? Look
get
at
me
what
started,
John
Matt.
Gruden, or not John Gruden, I'm sorry, John Elway, about the same mental capacity for running teams. Dodged a bullet there.
I'm the Chad Kelly guy. I'm always the.
Are you a Chad Kelly guy?
I want
Oh,
to see the backup.
goodness.
I really do.
It's not like that Case is doing bad.
No, he's not that good.
At least if you're looking at fantasy production, he's doing great.
I don't think you can blame the entire struggling offense on him. I don't think it's fair for Chad Kelly to get the nod over him. But
Right.
it's eventually when you're having a season like they're having, you have to just change it up.
Think I get a new head coach?
I think they're real close. I think there's some players and some coaches playing for their job this week in Denver.
I think they're having the time of their life.
Let's stick with Denver.
All right.
So I'm going to read you a quote.
All right.
The last 2 weeks, we had a 200-yard rusher. I get where he's coming from, but that was the last 2 weeks, Von Miller told reporters after practice on Tuesday. This week is totally different. We're going to get everybody's best this week, and they're going to get our whole team's best. And that starts with me. They're going to get my best this week, and we're going to go out there, and we're going to kick their ass. This is the way I'm feeling. So my response to that is start David Johnson, because David Johnson's been the only guy on the Cardinals offense that's done anything this year, and Denver's run defense is terrible. And that is just bulletin board material, if you ask me.
Yeah.
So John Elway came out, and he did call the offense or the defense soft,
Ooh.
quote unquote. So, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later too, little preview. But yeah, I just thought I'd throw it out there.
So, yeah, Von
Miller is having a rough 4 weeks. Let's see. Josh Allen has a bit of an elbow issue. He is going to miss at least the next 2 or 3 games.
He's done.
And he will be week to week after that, With Allen out,
Yeah.
the Bills have elected to not start Nathan Peterman.
5-pick Peterman.
They've actually,
I don't know how that nickname hasn't caught on.
They're starting Derek Anderson against the Colts.
Multi-pick Peterson.
How much do you want to bet Derek Anderson throws 3 touchdowns, 350 against the Colts?
Oh, want to bet?
Not really, but
I'll tell you.
if there was ever a time to bet on Derek Anderson, it's right now.
I went and picked up the Colts defense, so you're asking the wrong guy. I'm starting him against Derek Anderson. And the 1 week he's been on the roster, playbook knowledge.
Yeah, it's going to be a hell of a run game.
You better hope. Yeah, no, I'm not buying Josh. Or I'm not. No.
When this kind of
Derek
situation comes, it happens every year.
Yeah.
A quarterback goes out, a real bad backup quarterback comes in,
Yeah.
but they have like a good running back. Do you automatically start that running back, or are you the type of guy that says, well, the defense is just going to focus on that running back now?
I feel like this is like LaShawn McCoy's career. Like this has happened to him everywhere.
Yes. Fact.
So I trust LaShawn McCoy. I would start LaShawn McCoy this week, any week.
Well, against the Colts, it's a nice matchup. And I mean, the Colts defense doesn't scare anybody.
Right.
But it's just like this situation happens every year.
Yeah. But if this were the Texans, would I go?
Oh, like Lamar Miller?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I still would roll with those wide receivers.
Okay. Wide receivers Corey Coleman and Rashard Matthews both worked out for the Jets on Tuesday. I don't believe either has been signed yet.
Nope.
Corey Coleman got cut twice by the Patriots, though.
Same
so
team?
Take notes.
Yeah. Matthews has come out and said he's not going to play this year. Or it's not looking likely that he's going to play this year. So don't go get him. I still have a soft spot in my heart for Shoeman Coleman. So
Dalvin Cook practiced fully. Looks ready against the Jets.
Yep.
You're trusting him, right?
Of course.
Okay. In related news, Quincy Enunwa, he's been diagnosed with a high ankle sprain. He's likely to miss at least the next few weeks.
Yeah.
The Jets will move forward with Jermaine Kearse at slot and probably Terrell Pryor and Robbie Anderson on the outside. Quincy has 22 catches on the year, 1 touchdown, and over 200 yards.
Yeah.
Where do you trust any of those Jets wide receivers? Like, other than not Kearse, other than Anderson. Like, are you rolling out Pryor? Are you rolling out Kearse? Flex, desperation
I did
play?
last year in some desperation plays. I rolled out Kearse, but like everyone popped up on the injury report. Terrell Pryor didn't practice today. Kearse didn't practice today. Like nobody. So I don't trust any of them. If I had to pick one, I'm picking Anderson because he's the most talented.
Oh, easily.
But-
Easily. I don't think I want either one of those guys on my roster.
No.
Except for Anderson.
No.
This is kind of a sneaky play for those that you still start a kicker.
Sneaky play.
Greg Zerloin.
Yeah, I like Greg the Leg.
He's back from injury and will resume kicking duties this week. With such a high-powered Rams offense, his floor is pretty high.
He's a K1.
Yeah, so a lot of people don't keep 2 kickers on their roster, so somebody might have forgot that they dropped him. Go get him.
K1 steak sauce.
Yeah. Sneaky leg.
Greg the Leg. It's not sneaky when you have the leg in your nickname.
Do the sneaky leg. The sneaky leg. No.
No.
Okay.
Sorry.
ESPN Falcons reporter Vaughn McClure. He reports that Calvin Ridley has been diagnosed with a bone bruise.
Oh, no.
Coach Dan Quinn is hopeful Ridley will be ready for Week 7. And per McClure, Ridley's MRI came back pretty clean. It sounds like there's a real chance Ridley could suit up against the G-Men, though the Falcons are headed on a bye in Week 8. I, for one, would absolutely be shocked to see him this week.
Shocked.
Why? You're going against the Giants, which, I mean, it's national television. I think that's your Monday night game, so stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
I don't see why you'd start Ridley. Let him sit. Give him 2 weeks of rest.
Yeah.
He's, like, really, really good. He's proven that.
You've got Mohamed Sanu. I mean, it's not like your wide receiver 2's awful.
That's a very good point.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a very good point. Sanu's not bad at either.
So, and he's been playing well. I love Sanu.
Jaguars tight end Niles Paul suffered a sprained MCL Week 6 against the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Paul caught 7 passes for 65 yards against the Chiefs in Week 5. And, filling in for an injured Austin Seferian-Jenkins. He was expected to keep that role moving forward, but he suffered a knee injury after just 3 snaps.
Yay.
He will likely miss a couple of games at the very least. This is a fun name. James O'Shawn Hennessy.
O'Shaughnessy.
Okay. He's next up on the depth chart.
Sean Hennessy?
Although it is expected that the Jaguars could add some help in the future. You starting good old James?
Hennessy?
Yeah.
No.
You going out to get him?
No.
Yeah. I think that's just a position you avoid altogether.
Yes. Good job, tight ends. You know who would look real good in Jacksonville?
Who's that, Matt?
Noah Fant.
No, Fant. Yeah.
Noah
Yeah.
Fant.
Yeah. I haven't followed how. Is he doing?
Oh, yeah.
Is he doing pretty good?
He's
Good.
He's Noah Fanting it. He's a first-round pick.
49ers running back Raheem Mostert.
First-round pick. Mostert. You know what I think of when I hear this name?
What's that?
Most from The Office. The Amish. Dwight's Amish.
Oh, look, Jim's looking at the camera funny again. Anyways,
Most.
Raheem rushed for 12 times for 87 yards in Monday night's Week 6 loss to the Packers. The fourth year, undrafted free agent out of Purdue entered Monday with 13 career carries and 47 yards and has bounced around the league since entering it. Bing, 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 bing. He's settled in with San Francisco over the last year plus and finally got his chance against Green Bay, taking full advantage with a team high 87 yards on the ground.
Attaboy.
He and Matt Breida split the work, with Breida getting 14 carries to Mostert's 12. While previous change of pace Alfred Morris watched from the sideline and got 0 touches completely out of nowhere. What are your thoughts on Mostert?
Actually, you didn't watch the game, did you?
No.
Okay.
There was no way.
Dude looked quick.
Sure.
And he was he looked good. I couldn't tell the difference between him and Breida.
Oh.
I know it sounds crazy, but I like him. I like him as a sneaky little owned in less than 50% of leagues kind of guy.
You can get him easily.
Oh, yeah. He's on every wire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to think of myself as somebody that knows like the second, the third running back, second, third, fourth wide receiver.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
You didn't know Mose?
I didn't know that guy.
He's got a pretty interesting background if you look him up.
Okay.
So
Did you see the Matthew Berry
I
flip
did.
on the
One
other?
stupid point.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And he got it.
It's probably
And then they committed a holding penalty.
that's probably the funny. If you haven't seen that,
Oh, he goes on full tilt.
look up Matthew Berry, Raheem Mostert.
No, Matthew Berry, Alfred Morris. Because it's more about Alfred Morris than
Yeah,
Mostert.
you're right. Yeah, look that up. It's probably the only decent thing Matthew Berry's done in like 10 years.
You didn't like his book?
Patriots coach
Guess not.
Patriots coach Bill Belichick said Josh Gordon's role is expanding weekly.
I told you.
Quotes around that. Gordon played 63 of 78 snaps against the Chiefs and earned 9 targets.
Told you.
I'm reading the news, Matt. He only managed 5 catches for 42 yards without opportunity, but he is clearly trending in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
What is Josh Gordon the rest of the way? A wide receiver 1, 2, flex, what do you call it?
2.
A wide receiver 2.
If we're talking averages, if I have to guess average for the next 10 weeks, I'm going to say he ends up in the wide receiver 2 range. I think he's got a couple more weeks of 3 flex-ish, and then I think he's going to jump to a high-end 2, low-end 1. He looked good. And you know who he outscored
That's
last week?
9 points. I'm just saying.
I know. You're right. This week, he put up 9 points.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. He'll be fine. You know who he outscored this week? Jarvis Landry.
Well, yeah, almost everybody did.
Not Alfred Morris.
Jarvis Landry outscored Alfred Morris by 2. Yeah, like that's where we're at here. It was a bad game. They all have them. Let's see. We were a little worried last week. I don't know if you remember. We were worried about Greg Olsen, and this week he plays 59 of 60 snaps.
Yeah, he's a man.
98%.
He's 40. He's not 40, but...
Week 6 against the Redskins. This was Olsen's first game since re-injuring his foot in week 1.
Yeah.
But the Panthers did not take it easy on him at all.
Nope.
It was really remarkable.
He's good. Good.
He went 4 for 48, which I mean, nothing great. But I still think he is a risk of a setback all season.
I'm sure he is.
But dude is a tight end 1, is he not?
You start him every week you can, yes.
It's just such a weird scenario. Like, I didn't expect to see him back this soon. I'm kind of worried. I put him in there, but I always
I start him
squint.
everywhere Tight end is such a toss-up anyway. You might as well take your shot with a guy you know that will produce.
Man, I got a couple more stories for you.
All right. I love news and notes.
Time to play the game. Sony.
Triple
Michelle.
H.
Sony. PlayStation? No?
Oh.
Did you? No?
I went to, like, wrestling.
Oh.
WWE, like, because that's...
Well, that's the only, like... Okay. Anyway, Sony Michelle is heating up.
That was like...
He's in fuego.
You could have done, like, anything. You could have done, like, a Sony or, like, a PlayStation. Sony. Michelle.
They haven't done the PlayStation thing for years.
They don't... Time to play the game. That's wrestling. That's
true.
still wrestling.
I just thought wrestling would be... Okay. Sorry. He's averaging 22 carries in the past 3 games.
Yeah.
And over 100 yards on the ground in each. 4 total touchdowns. Safe to say the days of not knowing which Patriots running back to start is over.
Yes. Sony. I got Sony in a Superflex League 12 team in the second round.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's terrible, but...
Yeah, I said that. I'm like, what are you guys doing? Well, everyone took... All the quarterbacks went. I had the first pick and the 13th pick, and I got Barkley and Sony, and I killed that draft.
Yeah, well, of course you did. But
Yep.
Sony is just... my goodness.
Couple 100-yard games. He's tearing it up.
Yeah, he really is. It's... I think that's a guy that... I mean, Barkley is obviously your 101
Right.
for if you had to redraft your rookies.
Yep.
Without looking at it, I think Sony's 102, and I really don't think it's close.
If you're playing for this year, yeah.
I don't know, man. It might be for future.
Really?
Yeah.
I like guys. I still like guys. But I like Dalvin Cook. It's weird. Like, these guys that get hurt and then they see their ADP jump after they got hurt. Like, Dalvin Cook, Ryan McDowell shared something on Twitter the other day. Dalvin Cook's ADP went up after he tore his ACL. Like, I don't...
Well, that's stupid.
I paid 2 first-round picks for Dalvin Cook.
Fun fact to close out the news and notes portion of the show.
Finally.
Using ESPN standard PPR scoring, the top 5 scorers right now consist of only 1 QB, which isn't terribly crazy. But he's actually in 3rd place. So from 1st to 5th.
Okay. Can I guess? Let me guess.
Sure.
I'm not looking.
Okay.
I'm going to say Gurley.
Absolutely.
I'm going to say Mahomes is the quarterback.
Mahomes is the quarterback.
I'm going to say Tyreek Hill's in there.
No.
Ooh, okay. I don't know. I got 2 of 5.
Todd Gurley, number 1. Melvin Gordon, number 2.
Oh, I should have known that one, yeah.
It is the quietest,
Yeah.
102 right now.
Yep.
Patrick Mahomes is 3. Saquon Barkley, the rookie sensation.
Yeah.
And then Adam Thielen is in your top 5 right now.
Got a Thielen.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Just crazy.
Yeah, I don't know why.
The gap between Gurley and Thielen, by the way, is over 20 points.
Okay.
A running back to your wide receiver, that's ESPN standard PPR scoring.
Yeah.
I think that's crazy.
I would not have guessed Thielen.
Yeah, and I mean,
thought Hill was wide receiver
after
1,
Thielen, there's a ton of wide receivers, and it's not really...
Yeah.
The gap is minor, but still. Crazy,
Well,
huh?
Yeah, that's surprising.
So we're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna come back. We're gonna talk about your Renegades. Don't worry.
Okay.
We're gonna talk about Wager of the Week.
Okay.
Cha-ching.
Yeah,
And
you're
then
killing it.
We have to update
Hot takes?
our hot takes.
Boom.
Which this is gonna be fun. All right.
I love them.
We'll be right back.
Renshaw Renegades, Renegades. Yeah, the Renegades. Renshaw Renegades,
There we go. That's still the best sounder in the business. Recap last week, I picked Mr. Juszczyk. Had a great week. Well, and when I picked him, to be fair, Alfred Morris was the lead dog, and Matt Breida was supposed to be out, so that's why I went with Juszczyk. 4 points, 3 receptions, 30 yards, 1 fumble. So without the fumble, it's about a 6-point game. Speaking of 6-point games, Wendell Smallwood had a 6-point game, 51 yards and 1 reception. So I'm doing awesome on these picks. I do want to toot my own horn a little bit here. I did say go get Taylor Gabriel. Had another nice week, wide receiver. If you don't own him, go get him. I know you're not high on him, right?
Well, I mean, it's just not somebody I'd want to go get. That's all. I mean, like if he's a free pickup, sure. I don't like to have people on my roster that I will never start. He's somebody that I don't think most rosters could ever start. You'd have to be really desperate.
Like,
I think he's a great flex play.
Like if you're a team that has 0 wins. So this week's Renegades, I feel like we kind of hit him a little bit earlier, but number one this week is Ito Smith. And we've talked about him before, and I've loved to have him as a Renegade before, but he's always been over 50%. Ownership percentage dropped to 40%. So Devonta Freeman to the injured reserve. Ito Smith looks like he's going to be in a relatively high usage situation for at least the next 8 weeks or so. He has 10 and 13 touches the last 2 games without Freeman on 43% and 46% of the snaps. I talked about that last week, that I look at snap count and opportunity. So he's also been heavily involved in the red zone, scoring 3 touchdowns in the last 3 games. Tevin Coleman is still the best guy, but with this ownership, go get Mr. Ito Smith.
I love Ito Smith.
I know.
I like him a lot.
A lot. He's Tevin Coleman's replacement. Like, Tevin Coleman's gone next year. Smith is the guy, and with Freeman's injury history, like, Smith could be a very valuable piece next year.
I like him a lot.
All right.
Is that all you got?
For that one, yeah. And then we're going to go back to the well here. Apparently, I'm a glutton for punishment in San Francisco. So we're going to the Mostert.
Oh, no.
Dude, I told you, he looks so quick. And he's only owned, I want you to guess, like, what percentage leagues he's owned in.
Okay, 30.
No, 9. And I rounded up. It's like 8.8% of
I
leagues.
wrapped it up.
So, last week, 12 carries against the Packers, just 1 fewer than his career total in a game. You had that dad stat earlier. 87 yards. So, it was a usage game plan. Kyle Shanahan came out and said he's not the number 2 running back yet. So, but he's quick. He's a stash for me because Alfred Morris has not looked like he's going to be relevant ever
again.
So, and with the perpetuance, the opportunities of San Francisco running backs that get hurt, this stash could turn into a nice play for you. So, go get Mostert.
Nice.
Put him on the end of your bench.
Very nice.
So those are my 2. Want to
All
get the ka-ching going?
Are you ready for the ka-ching?
Let's hear the ka-ching.
Here's the ka-ching.
It's the Dynasty Dad's Wager of the Week.
Matt, I said it would be easy.
You killed it.
I said it would be easy, and it was.
Killed it.
The Chargers absolutely dominated the Browns, and that game was over by the end of the first quarter.
Yeah.
I am 4-2 on the season. I am hot right now, and I am going to keep the momentum going. I am having the time of my life. Now, I know I joked about it, the Broncos and the news and notes and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
But my pick this week is actually the Denver Broncos by 1.5
What?
in Arizona versus the Cardinals. Listen, the Cardinals are B-A-D. They're bad. They're ranked 31st in the league in points scored, 32nd in offensive yards, 32nd in first downs,
Okay.
31st in passing yards, dead last in rushing, dead last in drives ending in a score percentage. There's only 32 teams in the league, Matt.
For now.
Those numbers are more gross than watching a bird vomit into a baby bird's mouth. It's disgusting.
They're not vomiting. They're
Speaking of baby birds, Josh Rosen doesn't look ready to leave the nest at all. He's only started 3 games, and he's been sacked 7 times. Head coach Steve Wilkes is treating Rosen like a true game-managing quarterback and making the offense one-dimensional. David Johnson is only averaging 3.2 yards per carry, and he is the best player on the team.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. The Broncos are bad. They're just not that bad. Add in Thursday Night Football madness, a pinch of motivation from John Elway by calling the defense soft, and, well, I think you have a recipe for a potential shutout. Bold.
That's bold.
Bradley Chubb seems to be figuring out things quickly for a rookie, as he leads all rookies in sacks so far in the year. Von Miller is saying all the right things this week, and Vance Joseph has alluded to the defense being poor. He knows it's a problem. We get it.
Yeah.
Denver isn't a contender for any sort of championship this season, but the stretch of games they're coming off of is pretty brutal when you look at it. Since starting the season 2-0, they've had to travel to Baltimore, which is gross. No one wants to go to Baltimore.
That's true.
They had their hearts ripped out in the fourth quarter by the Chiefs on national television.
Yeah. Chiefs are good, though.
Absolutely. They got stomped in New York by the Jets, and then they lost to the undefeated LA Rams. The Cardinals are easily the weakest matchup in the past month for the Ponies. I think it goes without saying the Broncos are the superior team here. And to be only favored by 1.5 points is sus at best.
Is what?
Sus. That's what the kids are saying. Suspect. Start week 7 off with some moolah in your pocket. Take Denver to cover the spread. And here's a meaningless stat for you. Denver has won 9 of their last 11 games on Thursday Night Football.
That means nothing.
Cha-ching. Boom.
Huh.
It's such a gross matchup, and I know no one wants to watch it.
No. Are you going to watch it? You're a Broncos fan. Are you going to watch it?
Yeah, it's Thursday Night Football. I'm going to watch it.
Blah.
And it's my team, so.
All right.
Cardinals are bad.
They're due.
I was looking at those rankings. I was like, no way is this right. 30th, 31st, 32nd, 31st, 32nd. I was like, no way.
Yeah, they're bad.
I knew they were bad, but I didn't know they were bad in like everything.
Yeah, that's true.
Are you ready for some hot take updates?
Dude, let's do it.
Are you sure?
I think a couple of mine are dead. Just 1, 2 maybe?
Let's mix it up. Let's start with you this week.
Okay. We started with me last time, but sure, let's mix it up.
Did we?
Yes.
We're going to start with me then. I said Allen Hurns is going to finish third or worse in PPR fantasy points for the Cowboys wide receiver group, I guess.
Yeah.
Hurns is currently third with 22.4 points, and that is a 0.1 lead over Deontay Thompson, who, I mean, we all thought was going to be an MVP this year.
Totally.
And it's actually that 22.4 is less than 5 points over the rookie Michael Gallup. Both Cole Beasley and banged up Taven Austin still lead.
Those jet sweeps, man. They've run one a game.
Cole Beasley is a really underrated fantasy starter right now.
Blow up for the next 2 weeks.
I then said Des Bryant was going to score 10 touchdowns this season, and he better get to work.
Unless he's going to have a 10-touchdown game.
Still 0 and no paycheck coming.
No helmet, no logo, which is weird. Like the Jets need a wide receiver.
Rashawn Matthews and Corey Coleman are getting worked out, but you can't call up Des Bryant?
Yeah.
You can't call up Des Bryant? What'd he do? Was he hanging out with Colin Kaepernick? I don't understand.
He's done nothing. He doesn't want to play football.
Laquan Treadwell outscores Will Fuller in PPR leagues. Wow. 70 to 43 Fuller.
Which I saw this and I went, no way Treadwell has 43 points.
Yeah. Which I think that's a little closer than people thought, but still it's not good. It's not good. If Fuller stays somewhat healthy, that's a runaway.
Yeah.
I said Jameis Winston finishes the season as a QB1. I believe at the end of week 1, week 2, I was laughed at.
Yeah.
Because, Fitzpatrick looked great.
No, you might have been laughed at, but we all knew Winston was going to be back. Nobody really thought Fitzpatrick was going to be the guy for this season.
To be 3 games, suspended the first 3 games, if he ends up doing this is pretty huge.
Oh, yeah, and the bye. So he missed 4 games of the... Yeah. Where's he at?
Winston threw for almost 400 yards and 4 touchdowns in his first start of the season last week. QB12 is Tom Brady with 113.5 points.
Okay.
Winston already 37.4.
Okay.
There's a shot.
I just traded Winston in the league. I don't believe in him.
Austin Hooper finishes the season top 6 at his position.
Boom.
Wow. 2 weeks ago, Hooper was tight end 16. But thanks to injuries and some great play, Hooper has elevated to tight end 6.
Yep.
71 points on the season. And just for comparison, tight end 1 right now is Zach Ertz with 108 points. Hooper has 9 catches and over 70 yards in each of his last 2 games.
Yeah. Breakout.
Yeah, pretty nice.
And the Falcons are 2
Yeah. Yeah.
2 wins.
Yeah. My last one was Alex Collins vastly outplays his ADP. I said he would be a top 12 running back. The running back 12 is currently Isaiah Crowell with 85 points. Collins is currently running back 23 with just under 70. So about a 15-point deficit.
69 points?
69 point something.
Oh, so you're doing... Okay.
Yeah. I thought that'd be better to say just under 70.
Fractionals. Yeah, okay.
All right, here we go, Matt.
Yeah.
Let's close out strong.
Josh Gordon.
Josh Gordon finishes better than Jarvis Landry.
Love it.
We had a huge debate.
Still love it.
Absolutely huge debate.
You.
Over who is talented or more talented than
Josh
the
Gordon's more talented.
Gordon currently is down 36-78.
Yeah. But his
Jarvis.
role's expanding.
Yeah, boy, you better believe that coach speak. Gordon is currently wide receiver 4 in scoring for the Patriots alone.
He's played 2 games with the Patriots.
Jarvis Landry
and
does
he's already 4.
Jarvis Landry does have more points than the leading New England wide receiver, by the way, who is Philip Dorsett.
Yeah, because Edelman just can't it's a marathon.
Absolutely. I'm just saying. I'm just reading stats, man.
Yeah.
I'm just reading stats.
Okay. Yeah, I still take Gordon. I'm not even thinking about giving this one up.
No, you shouldn't. Deion Lewis, who was running back 31 at the time,
Yep.
finishes higher than Derrick Henry, who was running back 17.
Yep.
How crazy does that look now?
Yep.
59-30. That's the score.
Boom. He's almost got twice as many points.
Yeah.
And on a terrible offense.
Yep.
They do not look good.
You and I were absolutely on the same page with that one.
I love it.
Lamar Miller, currently at the time was being drafted as RB33,
Yep.
finishes the season as RB2 or better.
Yep.
That's top 24, Matt.
I understand.
Currently, Lamar Miller is RB38 with 49 points. He trails RB24, who is Sony Michel, by almost 20 points.
PlayStation.
Time to play the game.
No.
Anthony Miller finishes as the rookie wide receiver 1 and as a top 30 wide receiver option. I didn't bother to look at where he's at in the top 30 wide receiver spot.
He's not there.
But I'm always interested on how he ranks with wide receivers on the rookie category.
Yeah.
Calvin Ridley still leads the rookies with 90 points.
Yep.
Christian Kirk has made a really nice leap since 2 weeks ago. He's up to 64. Kiki Cootie out of nowhere with 45 points. Antonio Callaway slipping, but he's still ahead with 42.
Yep.
And here's some other names. Cortland Sutton, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Zach Pascal, DJ Moore. They all currently lead Miller.
Yeah.
Anthony Miller has 30 points on the season.
Yeah. I think I said last time I was okay. Because he got hurt. Like, you can't miss time and do this.
I think we both like Anthony Miller long term.
I do.
He's going to be around.
Yep.
But if you have the chance to get Zach Pascal for him.
Get out of here. I feel like Zach Pascal's a made-up name that you just threw in there.
This is the last.
Johnny Utah has more points than Anthony Miller.
This is the last one. We disagreed on it. Joe Mixon finishes outside the top 20.
Yep. Yep.
Despite missing 2 full weeks, Mixon is still in the top 20. He's RB18.
Yep. I'm okay.
You need Mixon to go down again because he's going to get the opportunities and he's going to be better than. He's going to be an RB1. That's how he's going to finish. Top 12.
No.
Top 12.
No.
Especially with Gio still banged up and out. And Mark Walton's nothing special.
Nuh-uh. Nope. Nope. He's not going to finish top 12. Nope.
Okay. Well, he's definitely going to finish inside the top 20. So, I mean, there's only 8 spots there.
Marvin Lewis only had 4 RB1 finishes in his 14-year career.
There we go with that stat again. Because he's always had talent just like Joe Mixon. Right? Is that what you're going to tell me? It's not just the coach. There's the talent around him, you know.
Jeremy Hill was talented.
Jeremy Hill was one of the worst running backs in Cincinnati history.
He had an RB1 finish.
Yeah, he's garbage.
Yeah.
Overrated.
He's not garbage.
Really?
He has an RB1 finish. Does Joe Mixon have an RB1 finish?
Not yet.
No, not ever.
Not yet.
Not ever.
It's going to be really fun in a couple weeks when we look back at these again because I think that I was really surprised with the wide receiver one, the rookies.
Yeah,
I know that was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, Deion Lewis is. Are you worried about Deion Lewis at all?
No, why would I be?
Yeah, he's looked pretty bad, but I mean, so did Derrick Henry.
They all look bad. They're the Titans.
True. Titans are going to be a top 5 pick in the NFL draft.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Who's one?
Well,
who's your 101?
Who's it projected to be right now?
I don't know. Browns, it should be.
Well, the Raiders have to be up there too.
Yeah. Let's look. NFL standings.
The Browns won't be.
I know. I'm just saying.
The Dolphins should be. I don't know how the Dolphins have such a record.
The Bills, maybe.
The Bills look bad.
The Raiders have 1 win. The Colts have 1 win. The Giants have 1 win. The Cardinals and 49ers both have 1 win. And that's your top 5.
Cardinals are that bad. Cardinals are going to...
Cardinals, 49ers, Giants, Colts, Raiders.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, that's it, man. That's the show. That's all I got for you. I have nothing else to talk about.
We did okay there.
Yeah. So, is there anything else you want to talk about before week 8 or week 7 starts? Before we come back on the air for week 8?
No.
Yeah, me either.
I was like, do you have something
No,
you want
I
to
have
talk about?
absolutely nothing to talk about. So, in the meantime, everybody, keep tuning in to Twitter.
Yep.
We're at Dynasty Dads. We have everything over there. Be sure to check the podcast description as well. We have a link to Twitter as well as a link to our sponsor page. So if you want to check that out, feel free. But until next time,
God
we're
bless.
out.
Thanks for hanging out with us on another episode of the Dynasty Dads Podcast. Be sure to subscribe on iTunes and follow us on Twitter at Dynasty Dads. Visit us at our website, dynastydads.com, for articles, news, and notes, Dynasty Dads gear, and more.